Hi guys, so we thought we'd introduce the next sort of stage of these vlogs as we're getting some appointments through again. So we will start, I guess, with like the first important day. So the 27th of November we got an email for our NHS funding came through. They had approved us. We had a bit of a drama with it though, because I emailed the clinic and was like, just looking for an update. It's been 3 months. You said it would probably take that long. And they were like, can't find your referral. I was like, definitely emailed it and you confirmed you'd got it. So what's going on? And they basically admitted that they'd never sent it off. So they had to beg on their hands and knees to the NHS and say, can you expedite this referral? And a few days later we'd heard back from them. So fortunately we didn't have to wait much longer for that. So got that on the 27th and she was like, we can start getting you booked in for tests and things. So last Thursday, which I think's the 30th. Yeah, the 30th of November, we went and had our bloods taken. So Darren's was just, they do like HIV,
hepatitis,
Hep B, those sort of precautionary ones, which we would have had right at the start anyway. I had the same bloods, but they also take another vial, and I believe it's to see what like your egg levels are. So somehow they can work that out, I guess. And they also did my BMI as well to make sure that I'm still well within that and a candidate, which I am, which is good. They had trouble taking blood from Darren. They had to go into his poorly little hand. But yeah, we're both nursing colds at the moment, so if we look a bit but we knew we had to do this because we have an appointment tomorrow. So tomorrow we're going back to the clinic to meet with a consultant, and we're basically going to talk through the plan, like what we're going to do, when we're going to do it.
results.
Yeah, the results from the bloods. That's exciting. Darren's going to come pick me up and going to go off to that. And then next week we have to, in between now and next week, we have to fill out some consent forms of things. Apparently it takes quite a while, so we've got to do that at some point. But they say to wait till you've had the consultant appointment. And then next week, I think next Wednesday, which is the 13th, so tomorrow's the 7th, and then on the 13th of December we have an appointment with the nurse, and they go through more so the medication side of things, like the actual doing of the injections, I guess, and preparing for egg retrieval. So it's exciting. We're going forward now. You get, with the letter they said we get one free embryo, I guess, and they will hold that treatment process for 6 months, and then I think following that you can then keep it within their frozen system for 3 years, I think. Not that ours will be in there that long, but yeah, we obviously need to have a look at timing and things because we have a trip planned for next year, so we obviously want to be cautious of that. But yeah, any thoughts, anything to input, Darren? I feel like you've not seen much of Darren in these vlogs. It's the first time he's like back in the game with it. And
Oh well, I was just being I've had a lot of busy, been very busy with everything. So, but yeah, I sound very croaky.
we're very sniffly and
But no, my thoughts are the clinic looked nice. It was
yeah, they've moved to a new clinic, so
yeah, it was very very posh and brand new building. So, and the staff were really nice as well.
yeah.
Yeah, so no, it was just a very nice experience. So we didn't have to wait too long once we got there. It was pretty much both in. You know, Sophie was like a bit,
I don't like having blood stuff.
Oh no! No, it's like...
I was fine. I was not like that at all.
Yeah, well, you just don't like it. I'm like, oh, just stab me.
He's had so many bloods done. But yeah, the clinic was really nice. I'll try and insert little photos or clips, but I don't know how much we'll film over these next few appointments. Obviously, we'll take you with us as much as we can, but yeah, I feel like we'll get a lot of information tomorrow, so might need like a notebook or something, but we'll update you sort of as and when.
But no, we just have to, just nice and hopefully a nice smooth process. Hopefully,
it's nice to start something before the year's out. So yeah, we've got our little two furries here. Little Winnie. It's Winnie. Who is it? Who is it, Winnie? And here's Blue. Hello. We are really the only babies. But yeah, we will catch up with you once we've been in for our appointments. Hi guys, so I thought I'd come on and update you as to how our last appointment went. So the last footage I recorded with Darren was the day before our consultant appointment, and we didn't actually film anything the next day because I was really quite snotty, if I'm honest, and I wasn't feeling very well, so I thought I would wait until I felt a lot better and be able to sort of be more clear-headed and speak to you about what happened. I will say this evening I feel particularly emotional. Might be because of the TV program we've just watched and someone gave birth. But yeah, I feel like I could cry any minute within this video, so we're going to try and power through. So yes, went and saw the consultant. If you're stumbling across this video in particular, myself and my husband have been going through about 4 years now of infertility, and we have just been given the go-ahead for a NHS funded round of IVF, which is very exciting. So we had our appointment with the consultant last Thursday, which was the 7th, I believe. And they basically sat down with us and told us sort of what we can expect for going through the IVF process. It wasn't anything groundbreaking that I'd not heard before. It was kind of expected. It was quite a quick appointment, if I'm honest. It was obviously a chance to get some questions out, and there's always that thing of you come away and then think of some questions, so I've noted them down on my phone for our next appointment. But we saw the consultant. We're not going to have the same consultant every time that we see, which is unfortunate. It would be quite nice if you did have someone overall that you could go to. But they basically just ran through obviously the process of IVF, what the injections, what they're going to be a little bit like. They didn't go too much in depth. They told us what egg retrieval was like, and that you're under sort of a local anaesthetic for that. At the same time, Darren will have to give another sample, and at that point they'll analyse his sperm and see if we go down straight IVF or if we go down ICSI. ICSI is an abbreviation, and basically if you go through ICSI, it's where they take the sperm and they actually inject it straight into the egg, whereas normal IVF and what happens with normal conception is the egg and the sperm are just sort of left to their own devices, with IVF obviously in like a little test tray, and they just let them sort of get on with it. But with ICSI they actually put the sperm into the egg. So they obviously explain that to us, and they'll decide on the day, and you know, obviously the risk with that, the risk with the IVF, they have to sort of explain that to you. So it was really quite a quick appointment. Like I said, I've got some questions on my phone for when we go back, about the general, like, when are we going to start, which I imagine they will tell us more this week. We've got an appointment with the actual nurse this week who will go into more about the injections, and the actual treatment process and getting the medication. So yeah, on
yesterday, Sunday, me and Darren sat down and we did about 3 hours worth of online videos and consent forms that we had to do. It was quite a long process. It covered everything from how normal conception usually works, how IVF works. It went through what happens with your eggs and what could happen with embryos. You know, if you were to pass away, can your partner use them? That was a big part of the consent forms. Like all like the general data protection stuff. What else? Obviously it went through pretty much every risk you can think of that could happen at any stage throughout this process, from taking the injections to egg retrieval to putting the eggs back in. It kind of went through all of it, so if you weren't concerned about a side effect before, it definitely brings up all the side effects to the forefront of your mind. So yeah, that was quite overwhelming. Like I said, it took 3 hours, and there was a lot of videos that, especially me as the woman going through it, I felt like I had to really watch. I could just skip them, like I had to watch them to be the most informed about going forward in the process. So yeah, that happened. So we've got the appointment this week. This week I feel like it's really hit me that it's going to happen, and this is the point of the video where I'll probably start crying. It feels really real because up until now there's always been that hope that we could conceive naturally. It just like makes it real that something's wrong. We still don't know the overall cause of why this could happen. As far as I'm aware, obviously there's something wrong with me, but nothing's been diagnosed. Darren in the past has had abnormal sperm, but he's taken some medication and that looked fine at the last test, but obviously they'll assess again at egg retrieval. And so the unexplained part is honestly one of the most frustrating parts of it. And that is one of my questions when we go back. Is there anything like on my notes to suggest what they think could be the cause, like anything like that? Because we really don't know. And one of the things that they obviously offer you is you can get some counselling either now or during the process. So I mean, I imagine we'll take that up at some point because it's a big step. Obviously doing the consent forms, it's all just made it very real that this is something we are having to embark on, you know, daily injections, all these appointments that we've got to go to, things that we never thought we'd consider at this stage in our life, questions that the average couple, the average family don't have to think about and question, are things that we've had to think about. You know, it's very much in the forefront of my mind that we get one round on the IVF with the NHS. It might not work this round. I know people are like, oh, you've got to be positive. And there is an amazing TikTok channel that I follow called Uniquely Knitted. They're across Instagram. They're a non-profit charity based in America, and they do a lot of great awareness and like group support for people going through infertility. And she puts out some really great TikTok videos that very much resonate throughout different parts of our journey. And one of them was like, no matter how I think, whether I'm going to think negatively or positively, it's not going to change the physical outcome. Obviously some people would say, you know, think positive and that will like bring the good vibes and that, but at the end of the day it's down to science, it's down to our bodies. Yes, they say stress can obviously have a negative impact. I mean, we're not really going to know until we go through it. Yeah, I'm finding it quite tough at the moment. Because it is that point where it's like, wow, this is happening now. This is the path that we are going down. It's kind of like there's a no going back. Kind of feels like, and like if we don't end up going through this, like we might never get pregnant. And obviously we're coming up to the holidays. We're a couple of weeks away from Christmas, and I feel like it's very much, time for the children. Obviously there's the religious aspect and all that, but it's very much time for children. People do pregnancy announcements. People are taking their kids to see Santa, and they're doing all the elf on the shelf and their advent calendars and all that. And it's all those things that you suddenly think, I might not be able to do that one day. What if we never get the opportunity to show our kids like the meaning of Christmas? And there's nothing I would want more than like to install like family values on our kids, and like I want to show them, Hanukkah and explore our Jewish side. But I also want, to have what I had as a child, and getting into my parents on Christmas morning and opening my stocking. Like, I'd love to share that with a child. So, it's really hard around Christmas. This time last year we were going through Clomid, and I naively, I guess, thought Clomid might be the answer to all, and I thought maybe by this time we would have conceived. And there's this like old wives' tale, which I will do, because at this point I'll try anything, that if you wrap a baby blanket up and put it under the Christmas tree, it's supposed to be like a good omen that by next Christmas you'll have a baby. So I will do that, and I'm planning on the 8th night of Hanukkah. It's like one of that night in particular, there's symbolism in the prayers to pray for fertility and people trying for children and to have children. So I'm really going to use, that's this Thursday, so the day after our nurse's appointment, and I'm going to use that sort of evening to really take time for myself, I guess. Kind of light the candles, and like in the 30 minutes after is when you're supposed to say the prayers, and they're sort of at their most powerful. So I'll say some prayers, I'm going to wrap up the blanket, and kind of get the best of both. So the blessings from doing it during that time, within lighting the candles for Hanukkah. And then we actually haven't put our Christmas tree up this year, that's a whole nother story. But I'm going to put it under my parents' Christmas tree for Christmas. So I'm going to do that. I also saw someone had made like an IVF bracelet, and it was like, IVF got this, like I've got this. And I think that would be like a really great like mantra to be able to look down on like throughout my treatment. So I'm gonna make, like, I've ordered some friendship bracelet stuff, so I'm gonna make that in that time as well, and just, I guess, take control of what I can, because there's not a lot I can control from now. It's very much you're led by, when the first day of your period is, and we're sort of handed over to the consultants now. They tell us when to take the injections, they tell us when to take the medication, tell us when we have to come in for appointments and egg retrieval. And so it's like, I guess it's the only thing I feel like I've got control over at the moment. And like everyone's like really excited, and they're like saying to me, oh, this is really exciting, and yes, it is really exciting, but it's really damn scary. Like, I've never gone in for any hospital appointments, like for myself. Like, I've never had a tooth out. I've never, I had, braces. They might have taken a tooth out then. Did they? Not sure. Besides the point, but I've never broken anything. I've never gone into hospital for myself. Like, this is the first time I'll ever have, like, a local anaesthetic when they do the egg retrieval, and that's really scary. And like Darren's very matter of fact, like he's done quite a lot of surgeries and things like this, so he's very much used to it. But I am not the best when it comes to needles. Like, I'm okay, but when they tell you like how they do egg retrieval, like it is scary, and there's no way to like sugarcoat that. So yeah, there's that, and I knew I'd get emotional. But like I said, you just start thinking of all the things that you're being denied because of your infertility, and you know, one day hopefully I'll be sat here like introducing you to our new baby. But at the moment, like, you have all these thoughts of all the things that you may never get to do. Another thing I think about is denying my parents of having grandchildren. No, I should have brought a tissue. It's like Darren's mum and dad, they have a grandchild through Darren's brother. If I didn't sound bunged up before, I do now from crying. What I'm trying to say is I am an only child, so it very much falls on me to give my parents grandchildren. And as much as, you know, they're very supportive, like, I've never felt pressured to give them grandchildren. They've always said, like, they've got the grand fur babies, and, you know, if that was that, that's enough. But I'd feel like I've denied them the chance to be grandparents. Like, I had such lovely experiences with most of my grandparents, so I would love to have a child to be able to have, for them to have the relationship with both sets of grandparents, because I know they would, both sides would be very hands-on. And my mum went through IVF to have me, and even though the reasons behind both of our experiences not being the same, our paths are very much going down the same route, in the sense of, obviously, we're doing IVF. When my mum was having me and struggling, she found out my aunt was pregnant. Obviously, when me and Darren are going through it, we found out one of my best friends was pregnant. She's actually just had her baby, and so, you know, naturally I see some photos that she posts on social media, and they do affect me. It does hurt, because I'm not like angry, or like, I'm not angry at her, and I think it's amazing. I'm sad for myself, for Darren, for my parents, of not having that experience yet. And I'd love to be sat here in a couple of months, a year's time, you know, and be able to look back at this video and think, I wish she'd stop worrying. Like, everything happens for a reason, as my mum says. But it's hard. I think I'm finding it hard to. I'm finding it hard with my jealousy, I think, at the moment, which is completely normal to go through, and that anger side of it as well, because you're just angry at your own situation and the fact that that's not you. I know that I'm not being. Had my circumstances been different, I would have been the most involved and like wanting to know everything about my best friend's new baby, and emotionally I am not there, and I'm finding it really hard to put myself there, and I hate the fact that because of what I'm going through, it's having that knock-on effect. Like, I want to be there, I want to be supportive, and I want to find out everything. Like, I obviously am so interested and invested, but at the end of the day I have to put myself and my own mental health first, and I've got to be in a good place mentally to be able to cope with that, so I don't like break down. So I think the next week's going to be really interesting. Obviously the nurse's appointment, finding out what our next step is, when we can start. I've got a feeling, just because of when my period is, I think we might not be starting actual injections and that sort of medication until January, I think. I don't know, they might tell me different. But I think that's where we're looking at now. That's the stage. It was a lot. I only expected to sit down for about 10 minutes, but it's turned into 20, and I have cried quite a bit, but I feel like that's quite therapeutic. Just to sit down and release my feelings. So I'm going to sign off for now, and the next part of the video I guess will be following our nurse's appointment. So I'll see you then. Scoffing at Dana. So we're here for our appointment with the nurse. So we will update you afterwards.
Yeah.
Exciting. Do a little clip of us holding hands. Come on, take my hand. So we are out now. It was basically mostly just going over our consent forms and then them detailing the process of everything that will happen between now and egg retrieval. So what's the date today, the 13th? So we're looking at starting in like the first week of January, because that's when my predicted next period's going to be. And then on the first day I have to call them and they will let us know when to start taking the medication. I will be taking my injections at 8 in the morning, which is good because hopefully you'll still be home most days around that time, won't you?
Yeah, but the dogs will get you off anyway. So.
No, but what I'm saying is if I struggle to do the injections myself.
You mean you'll struggle?
Well, I'm not great at, like...
Oh, so you'll need to go and stab?
Yeah.
Right.
Well, at least, like, for the first couple, I'd like you to be there in case I wimp out on it. Because, like, by the sounds of it, they don't, like, do a demonstration one for you. I don't know, they might offer us that, like, when it happens.
I can do it for you. It's
like,
easy.
because obviously, back in the day, when my mum used to do it, and, like, she went to the clinic sometimes and they did the injections for her. Obviously, things have changed, so, I guess they're going to deliver the medication in the next couple of weeks. Some of it has to go in the fridge, someone has to be home for it. My arms.
Well, you're not going to be home for it, are you?
So,
so it's going to have to be me.
well, if I know, I will, but if you can't be home, I will make sure that I'm obviously home for the recipient of the medication.
There's a few days next week I got to be around.
Okay, that's fine. Well, one of us will be there. And then obviously she was talking about the injections, and you do like about 2 weeks worth of injections, and then you go in for egg retrieval. You go in at like 7:30 in the morning, and then they like stagger you, so you might not get seen till like 11.
Yeah. And
you have to be there all morning. Darren will be there as well because he'll have to do a sperm sample, and then at that point they will decide if we're doing IVF or ICSI. Darren thinks his sperm's the issue, but we're not. They've not.
I think
told
it's the
us
head.
that.
It's the head.
When he went for his first sample, like well over a year ago, they were like, the heads are a bit abnormally shaped.
But the woman mentioned it last time, so.
She did mention it last time, but when I spoke to the consultant a couple of months ago, when we were going to put the funding in, he was like, yeah, Darren's come back fine.
We'll see.
I feel like they've not actually outright said that is the problem. That could be the problem. I can reply back on the email.
Yeah. But.
And ask.
Yeah.
So, we'll find out.
I'm quite blasé about it anyways, but, you know, if it's me, it's me. I don't care. I'll just get on with it.
I think if it's you, I kind of think it might be easier.
Hopefully it is then.
Because they can do ICSI, select the best. But as far as, like, we don't know what my body's going to do, like, in way of how, because obviously when they put the egg back in, the embryo back in, we'll hope it attaches.
Well, it's about...
My body could reject it for all we know.
You could overstimulate, and then you have to wait.
Yeah, they said if I end up producing too many eggs, what they do is they will collect them. This is providing I produce eggs.
Apparently you do.
Well, I had my AMH blood test, didn't I? And it came back like about 9. which they said was fine. So that's assuming I am producing eggs. And I've had some scans and things, so I think that side is fine. But obviously, you just never know until it happens. So.
But no, I think the thing is, you just have to, you give it a go and see how it works, and then you go from there. If it doesn't, and if it does, then good. But you don't have to be downbeat, because I know
Darren's very much, as we saw in the clip I filmed last night, I am the emotional one. Darren's very much the facts are the facts. Like, I filmed that bit last night and I broke down.
I think you do, because you're a woman.
Just an emotional person.
Like every woman. But yeah, I think you'll be fine.
I'm going to be even more emotional when I'm on the hormones. So, God help you.
I gotta stay at your mum's.
Yeah, but
mood swings as well.
all in all, we're looking at knowing by the end of January, which in itself is scary. That is scary to know in like this time next month. We could know whether we're going to have a baby or not next year. That is scary. Do you not think?
What, another year about? Yeah, that is bloody scary. Another shitbag moaning.
It's scary. Because, like, your birthday's in February, and we could, like, be really happy, or we could be, like, not happy.
We'll be bloody happy either way. Because you learn from it, and then they learn from it, and then they can do it better. So, I think the more tries you have, the better success rate. So, but because you're younger and under 30, you've got a better success rate.
I know, but it's also the fact that you get one on the NHS and then that's it. You have to start paying.
Yes, that's fine. I get
I know, but
bonuses and stuff, and
I don't like to think about that. I think my mind's already like, in my head it's like, I'm kind of assuming like it's not going to work, and I shouldn't. Because I see so many people like go through their failed first time. And I follow too many people on bloody TikTok going through it. I really shouldn't. And like, I was a third time IVF. And I know it can work first time. But
well, you never know, you might get the luck.
When have we had any bloody luck?
Well, I suppose you are married to me. But, I mean, yeah, you never know. It works in mystery ways, I suppose. You never know, you might get, like, first time luck. So.
But this will probably be the end of this part of the video. Unless there's anything interesting, like when the medication comes, we'll probably check back in
I can
January.
video me stabbing her if you like. If that's.
Thank you.
That's a good part, and then video her passing out. That'd be quite funny.
I won't pass out.
I'm feeling ill. No, she's not very good at needles, but.
I think I'm more concerned about the egg retrieval and having the local anaesthetic.
Local anaesthetic is nothing.
But she did say when when they do the embryo transfer, Darren can actually come into that appointment with me, and like, it's obviously like, this is the baby scan. Like, that's essentially your first baby scan, isn't it? And like, you can see it on the screen. They make sure the egg's in there, or the embryo's in there, and then. If that's fine,
are the eggs shaped like your head or something, like little? How do they shape these eggs?
They look like eggs.
Are they oval eggs or
no,
like?
They're round, aren't they? Yeah, they're like little round eggs. And then, well, I guess. And then, so you have the embryo transfer, and then I think they say 10 days after that, they will tell you when to do the pregnancy test. Because obviously there's this big thing, like you see people going through it on Instagram and TikTok, and they do it like every day until they see the line. And I'd like to think I'm not going to be that kind of person. I will wait, because otherwise I think not seeing a line every day will be more detrimental to my mental health than just like waiting until they tell me to. So, and they send you a pregnancy test kit, which is very considerate of them. And then if it's positive, they get you in to confirm it, and then I think they do a 7-week scan, and if all is okay, they then obviously discharge you back to your GP for the rest of your scans. And if not, you discuss doing another round.
So?
I don't think I ever realised how quick, like, the actual process of it is. Like, within, like, 3 weeks, you know, from start to finish, whether it's successful or not. Like, you spend all that time and money for it all to be over in a month.
Well, I think once you get your eggs and stuff, it'll be easier, because if they've got a number of eggs and they can froze them, then IVF should be a better process.
Well, they can take from those eggs, can't they? You don't have to necessarily do egg retrieval every time.
Oh, I know. And then that obviously lessens the cost. So, yeah. That'd be interesting. But yeah. Fingers crossed, you never know, first time luck.
Wish us luck for January, chaps, and we'll catch up with you in the new year. Have a Merry Christmas, or have a Merry Hanukkah. Look at my back. You see the dog?
Hanukkah nights with a little dog. Here we go.
It's Hanukkah.
It's Hanukkah.
This is the Hanukkah miracle.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll see you in the new year. Bye! Bye! He's not turned it off.